From the recently leaked Facebook files to the 2020 Netflix documentary The Social Dilemma, many experts are claiming that social media has created a mental health crisis by distorting the way users view the world and themselves. The evidence is all over the internet. Memes normalizing mental illness, pictures of self inflicted wounds and emaciated bodies, even pro suicide forums are just a click away. However, just as social media is rife with dangerous misinformation, so is the way the media reports on this issue. It harms people with mental disorders by ignoring the underlying issues and promoting derogatory stereotypes. For example, a common misconception is that healthy people are developing psychological problems solely from technology use. In reality, people with mental health issues turn to social media seeking advice on how to manage their problems, as well as an escape from the teasing and exclusion that they often face starting at a very early age. These communities are misguided because the users are seeking guidance from other mentally ill people who are equally confused. This phenomenon predates the internet, as evidenced by the controversies over the heavy metal, emo, and goth subcultures of the 80s and 90s. However, modern online communities have a much higher potential for harm due to larger group sizes and the manipulative effect of algorithms. At the turn of the millennium, when most Americans had home computers, forums promoting suicide and other self destructive behaviors emerged. The proportion of suicide attempt survivors who reattempted went from the single digits in the 90s to over a third by the mid 2000s. Then, in 2007, the smartphone revolution meant that teenagers as well as adults could have constant private access to the internet, and the amount of minors hospitalized for suicidal tendencies doubled from 2007 to 2015. Similarly, there has been a significant increase in the United States suicide rate, starting in 1999 for adults and 2007 for teenagers. However, these individuals did not become mentally ill because of technology. Statistical evidence and interviews with psychiatric patients show that these people were already struggling, and social media sent them on a downward spiral that put them in the hospital or in an early grave. Many of these misconceptions are rooted in prejudice. At the forefront of this conversation is the book iGen, in which Dr. Jean Twenge argues that suicide rates and hospitalizations are increasing because Generation Z teenagers delay adulthood, allegedly as a result of smartphone use. Dr. Jonathan Haidt, who endorses Dr. Twenge's theory in The Social Dilemma, claims that people develop mental illnesses because they are mollycoddled by social media. The idea that psychological disorders are caused by immaturity is an ableist stereotype. On the flip side, increases in cases among school-age children are described as a loss of childhood innocence, painting children with psychological disorders as unchildlike and corrupted compared to their peers. Last but not least, language such as smartphones cause mental illness by turning people into robots and zombies is dehumanizing. It's precisely this sort of rhetoric that causes people with mental disorders to withdraw from the outside world, seeking compassion and understanding in online subcultures. Therefore, in addition to holding social media companies accountable, efforts to disband these toxic groups need to get through to the users themselves by teaching people with mental disorders to be self-reliant and resist bad influences. The alienation that drives mentally ill people to seek acceptance online also needs to be challenged, especially within the field of psychiatry. As Hippocrates said, "First, do no harm." We cannot fight this crisis with the same denigrating attitudes that created it. Respect is needed to move forward and create a better world.